What's going on, guys? JTK here. Welcome back to another top 5 zombies videos. In this one today, we're going to be doing the top 5 most underrated COD zombies maps of all time. Now, a couple videos ago, we did the top 5 most overrated zombie maps. Check that out if you haven't already. But in this one today, we're going to be switching it up a bit and doing the top 5 most underrated zombies maps. Now, an underrated zombies map is pretty much classified as a map that isn't really loved much by the community, but is a lot better than what people think of it. So like, these are maps that are going to be really bad that are actually pretty good, or maps that just don't get the love they deserve overall. Now, I'm not going to have any special criteria for this video overall, so without further ado, let's just jump right into the list. Now, coming in at our number 5 spot, this is going to be going to Blood of the Dead. Now, Blood of the Dead is a really good map in my opinion. I know a lot of people give it shit because it's just released right after Mob of the Dead, and then people don't really like it compared to Mob of the Dead. I know a lot of people hated this map on launch. A lot of people were saying that this was going to be one of the worst maps ever, and a lot of people do still to this day think that it is one of the worst maps ever, which I just don't really agree with. I know it can be hard for newer players to kind of jump into this map and have a good time, because it is mainly made for the hardcore audience with the super difficult Easter egg and then a lot of lore reveal that's behind the map as well. I know it's really hard for newer players to jump into, and that's kind of a reason it gets a lot of hate, but people just sometimes give this unjust hate as well, where they'll just hate it because, oh, the map's too hard or something like that, which I just don't really agree with. And I've had multiple arguments in the past before where difficulty should not determine how good or bad a zombies map is if the content is compelling and fun to the players. Now, there's a lot of things that Blood of the Dead doesn't do well compared to Mob of the Dead, but there's also a lot of things that Mob of the Dead lacks compared to Blood of the Dead. Blood of the Dead, I would say, is a much better map for high round gameplay. If you're doing a high round strat on Black Ops 4, you have multiple traps that you can use that are really effective. You have the Magma Gap, which is just better than the Acid Gap from Mob of the Dead in every single way, and you have the Golden Spork Knife as well, which is just a really good, fun side Easter egg to do. I do really like the side Easter eggs and the lore reveal that is on Blood of the Dead. That's kind of why I really find it to be underrated, because I know a lot of people like to say that Blood of the Dead is trash, that Blood of the Dead sucks because of the Black Ops 4 systems, but for me personally, I don't really think it's that bad. I wouldn't say it's up there with some of the best maps ever, but it's definitely not down there with some of the worst. So for that, it's going to be coming in at our number 5 spot. All right, now coming up next on our list, this is going to be going to another Black Ops 4 zombies map, Voyage of Despair. Now, Voyage of Despair is obviously one of the most hated zombies maps of all time, and some of it is for good reasons. I can understand why people don't really like it because of the whole chaos story that's going on, and not many people like chaos. But in my opinion, in terms of gameplay, it's not really too bad. It's not the best. I really don't like the map layout that much. I think it's really annoying, really confusing, especially for newer players. But if you're a hardcore player like with Blood of the Dead or any of those other hardcore maps, it shouldn't be too much of an issue to try and get through it. And if you're just casually playing through it a ton of times, it's easy to get used to the map layout after a while, like I do with most other zombies maps. Like Gorod Krovi also has a kind of confusing map layout, but it's not as bad as Voyage of Despair. But it still does take me a while to kind of get used to it. So for that, I can't really say that it's a bottom tier map just for the map layout by itself. Voyage of Despair still does a lot of things really good though. There is a really good wonder weapon. I know a lot of people give the Kraken a lot of shit because it doesn't really work properly like a wonder weapon, but I do think that the Kraken is up there with one of the best wonder weapons in terms of just the way that it works. Not in terms of like damage or getting you to high rounds, but just as a way to kind of put a unique spin on zombies in a way. You can refill the ammo. It's the first wonder weapon ever where you could go to a table and refill the ammo for it, which is just really cool, unique. I do like that concept, and I like the way they did it, where they actually give a use to the catalyst zombies, and they're not just annoying little pieces of shit that run across the map and blind you every 10 seconds. They're actually pretty useful when it comes to Voyage of Despair. So for that, I can appreciate Voyage of Despair. Now, I wouldn't say that it's up there in terms of good maps. I just don't really agree with people when they say it's one of the worst. So for that, I'm going to have to put it at our number 4 spot on this list. Now, coming in at our number 3 spot, this is going to be going to Zetsubou No Shima. Now, Zetsubou No Shima is actually a really good map. I do like it a lot, but especially when Black Ops 3 came out, people did not like this map whatsoever. First of all, when it did come out originally, it was super buggy, and a lot of people hated it because of the horrible bugs and glitches and crashes that were constantly plaguing this map. There are so many bad memories with this map in terms of just like crashing constantly, in terms of weird glitches that just don't make any sense, phasing out of the map glitches, and just a lot of other random stuff that happened on this map. But over time, they did eventually fix it, and I still do see a lot of people hating on this map, and I just don't understand why, because one, the glitches that people mainly complained about are now fully fixed, or at least mostly fixed, and the rest of the map isn't actually too bad either. Zetsubou No Shima is still an amazing map, even though it's not as good as compared to other Black Ops 3 Zombies maps. There are still amazing things to do on this map, like the spider boss fight, which is probably one of my favorite boss fights in terms of just zombie spectacles in general. It's really cool to go into that boss fight. The Easter egg is also really easy for the casual player to get into. Its entire premise is pretty much just doing your challenges and then collecting 3 cogs, which isn't too bad to understand and is actually really fun to go through and do. It's just an all-around really good map, and I get why people sometimes hate on this map because it is the worst out of Black Ops 3, but just because it's the worst in that game doesn't mean it's bad. And so for that, I do think it deserves the number 3 spot. Now, coming up next on our list, this is going to be going to a non-Treyarch Zombies game. This is going to be going to quite possibly the most underrated Zombies map out of the non-Treyarch series. That is Zombies in Spaceland. Now, I know a lot of people give non-Treyarch zombie games a bad rep, like World War II, almost all the maps on there were trash. Exo Zombies, all the maps were trash. Vanguard Zombies, all the maps were trash. Literally every single non-Treyarch Zombies game that's ever existed is just complete trash and is despised completely by the community. So when Zombies in Spaceland first came out, a lot of people kind of pushed it into that category of just not belonging to zombies because it wasn't made by Treyarch, which is just completely unjustified in my opinion, because Zombies in Spaceland is definitely a top 5 best zombies map of all time. I've said it time and time again before that it is one of my favorite zombies map. When it comes to non-Treyarch zombie games that I constantly come back to, it's usually Zombies in Spaceland is like the first one that I usually come back and play with. Zombies in Spaceland does the one thing that Treyarch Zombies has failed to do, and that's combine the casual and the hardcore audience into one map that both can equally enjoy. For the casual audience, you have a plethora of roller coaster rides and arcade machines that you can play on to get tickets to earn rewards throughout the map. Also just a bunch of pick-upables and just an overall fun environment to be in. And for the hardcore audience, you have an incredibly difficult Easter egg with an incredibly difficult boss fight that rewards you greatly with getting you to director's cut and other unlockable content throughout the game. Overall, I would say that Zombies in Spaceland is definitely up there with one of the best maps of all time, and I know a lot of people give this map shit because it's not a Treyarch Zombies game. Well, I'm going to be putting it on this list because I do truly believe that this map is a masterpiece and is definitely deserving of the number 2 spot. Now, coming in at our number 1 spot as the most underrated zombies map of all time, this is going to be going to Ancient Evil. Now, Ancient Evil is already at a disadvantage because it's a Black Ops 4 map. And it's at an even further disadvantage because it's a Chaos Zombie storyline map. But with those two things ignored and out of the way with, if you just look at the map Ancient Evil by its layout, by its aesthetic, by the wonder weapons, by the mini bosses, by everything else in terms of just gameplay, it's phenomenal. The Easter egg is fun to do. I love going through it. I love how it utilizes all 4 of the elemental wonder weapons. It's the first Easter egg ever that actually does that, and it's not just, oh, build them like on the Rising Jack or Origins and then you never use them. You actually get to use the gauntlets while you're doing the Easter egg, like you use the Gaia gauntlet for the time step, you use the air gauntlet to line up the crossbow for one of the final steps, you use the Orion gauntlet to kind of like make a puddle in the middle and then you shoot all the statues. Every single gauntlet has a use on this map and they're really easy to upgrade. You can upgrade them for a 3rd time, which does take a while, but it's really good and effective for high round cooldowns as well. And overall, I would say it has the best of the elemental weapons in terms of the damage overall and just effectiveness and aesthetic. Like I said before, I love the entire map layout of this map. It's similar to Gorod Krovi, where it's a giant, easy, understandable map, easy to turn on the power as well. And then once you turn on the power, then you can grab the ladle, go to the Pack-a-Punch machine, like how you would fly on the dragon on Gorod Krovi, you're flying on a Pegasus. This time, you can actually skip the cutscene, unlike Gorod Krovi, where you have to watch it every single time. You can't skip that one. I'm getting a little too carried away with myself, but that's kind of why I personally believe that this map is my favorite of all time, and nothing yet has come close to beating it. So for that, I think it does deserve the #1 spot, simply because people hate this map because, one, it's Chaos storyline, like I said before, and two, it's on Black Ops 4, which already makes this map kind of disliked with the community in general. But if you just look at it for the map by itself, it's honestly a masterpiece, and it's definitely deserving of our #1 spot. Anyways, guys, that's going to wrap up this video for today. If you did enjoy, leave a like, subscribe, do all that. You already know what to do. Leave your comments down below if you want to see me do any other type of content. Go down in the description, check out the Comfy Cushion podcast. It's a podcast me and my friends do. We're trying to get that to 100 subs, so hopefully we can do that. Go over there, subscribe to that. And also check out Lucian Johnson's TikTok and Joseph Quintana's TikTok. They're also on the grind right now, so definitely go check those guys out as well. And yeah, I got nothing else to say. So, peace.